This episode of Nintendo Pow Block is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, head on over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network and see which tier is right for you. Thanks for your continued support. Hello everybody, welcome to Nintendo Pow Block here on Boss Rush Network. I'm your host, the Lights Excited Eddie V. Joining me is the one, the only bossman himself, Mr. Corey Dirrig. Hello, good sir.
Hello, Edward. How's it going? How's your Friday?
Goodness. No, I had a good Friday because I was off of work. But my Wednesday. So Wednesday, my car wouldn't start, battery died. I text you about that. Thursday, I went to O'Reilly's. There's just an auto parts store.
O'Reilly's.
Yes. So I went to them because they're up the street from us. And I was able to get a jump from my car and get it there. And I brought the battery. And they took my old battery. It was like, in total, I think it was like $228 some with it, because they took off they gave me my new battery and they took my old battery and stuff, and so my car's been working just fine, been turning on and everything, and I had that battery in my car for 3 years, so I wonder it might have just been the weather or something, because it wasn't my lights. I don't know what happened, something made it drain and everything, so I just ended up getting a new battery. So everything is good to go with that. That Thursday that Thursday after I did my battery stuff, I went home just like, let me do my taxes. So I went and did my taxes, so that's good to go. I got confirmation that my Power Block shirts are on the way, and my cards are on the way. So hopefully they come tomorrow or Monday and stuff. So I'm super excited for that. But yeah, pretty much I am back at my store for work. And then I'm turning around and going to PAX, which is one episode away from now.
No, isn't that? No, it's. I can't believe it's so close. Like, I knew it was coming, but it just kind of snuck up on me, It just kind of creeped up. It was like, PAX.
Yeah, I gotta so I'll talk to you about Thursday off the air, Corey. But
no,
it's actually good. It's actually a good one. It's kind of a schedule thing. So behind the scenes, everybody. It'll probably be up to you, Corey, if that Thursday you want to do Power Block after you do Tower Casual, because I'm off at 7 that day. So
wait, in like a week, Thursday?
Yeah, next Thursday before we go to the show. Because okay. I think I'm off. Yeah, I'm off Saturday and Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I leave for PAX. But because I think Thursday, Friday, I work.
We're recording that fill-in episode on Monday, and then we're gonna record at PAX. We should be fine.
Yeah, but to get the episode out for that week, that Tuesday, the week of PAX.
Yeah, that's the one we're recording on Monday, I think. Is it not?
Right. I'm thinking I'm working that Monday. I gotta check.
You just okay. We'll talk about it after.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Not worried. I mean, everybody. We kind of already warned everybody that episodes are going to be weird the next couple weeks because of PAX, right? And we're going to try to make up for the weird episode release / whatever we're gonna try to make up for it with extra content from PAX. So,
Yes.
we're gonna try our best to do the PAX thing for everybody and cover it as best we can. Also, everybody is taking the week off after PAX, so because PAX is exhausting. I mean, even when I wasn't part of the media, it was exhausting. And then it's even more exhausting. So, yeah, everybody just, and that goes across the board. Boss Rush Podcast, After Dark. I think we have expansion passes, so that probably won't be that messed up.
Yeah.
So we'll, just sorry in advance if things don't come out right away. This is PAX is a big deal for us, and we want to deliver on that because the reason why we get to go is because everybody listens and supports us and allows us to go. So that's a big thing that we want to cover for everybody, because I know a lot of people don't get to go, and people that do get to go usually have to pay for it, and it's a privilege to not have to do that. So we want to do the best job we can of covering it.
Yes, correct. So, but pretty much that's been going on with me. How about you, Corey?
It was a busy week, man. A lot of stuff changing at work soon ish, and just trying to prepare for that, event stuff. And we are launching a new event in May, so those I had to do a whole bunch of logos and stuff for the event. And podcasts, we're rebranding a podcast, our primary Tuesday podcast, to match our events. And so that had to be kind of redesigned, and it's been busy. And next week's not any less busy. I think next week we're recording something like 9 podcasts for work next week. We're trying to wrap up the recordings of a season for the podcast. It's 16 episodes is the season for this one podcast. And it's all about AI. It's called Utilizing AI. If you guys want to listen to it, it's about how companies are using AI in real world situations, and not in the way that video game people are afraid developers are going to use AI. This is like we talked to a guy a couple weeks ago that uses AI to monitor if his crops in his greenhouse need watered or picked or turned away from the sun because they've been in the sun too long. That's how he uses it, and it was really fascinating. So yeah, we're trying to wrap up that season. So it's been busy at work, and it's also been busy around here, just because we're still kind of moving, right? And we're moved in, but we still have to go clean the other apartment tomorrow, and still have to bring all the outside stuff over. Hollywood. Edward Varnell getting
No,
text.
No.
Yeah, and so, and I've also been staying up later than normal trying to play games because I want to play more games. Like I said on the last episode, I'm trying to really focus on playing games again. So, which is something I haven't really done in a while. Like I'll play a little bit of some games and then I'll just move on. But I've already beaten 3 games this year, Ed.
Yes.
So, which I'm really excited to talk about everything I've been playing, actually. So yeah, it's been busy, but life is busy. Life's tough. Get a helmet. I don't know.
Yes. Well, that's good. Well, everybody, we're going to get into our plugs real quick. Um, let you guys know that we are going to PAX East. So just to let everybody know, Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network are headed to PAX East. You will be able to find us roaming the show floor. So if you're there, come say hi. We will be covering the event as part of the media, demoing games, conducting interviews, and recording a podcast or two live from the event. So make sure you keep your eye on bossrush.net and our YouTube channel for that. PAX East is taking place in Boston, March 21st to the 24th. So get your badges now. Come say hi. You can also check out our Patreon website and YouTube. If you want to support Nintendo Pow Block and the Boss Rush Network, you can head over to our Patreon at patreon.com/Boss Rush Network, where you can get our supplemental show Expansion Pass 2 weeks early and ad-free and other perks like early access to other podcasts, voting rights, and more of the tier that's right for you. Again, that's patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. So Cam Hawkins is going to be at PAX East. So hopefully we could run into him and say hi. He was on our Black panel for Boss Rush podcast. And I and I kind of kept in touch with him and everything and on his Twitch and like not having arguments but good discussions and stuff. So he's gonna be there. So I hopefully I could run into him, just say hi, just show love to him and everything, and be like, no hard feelings or anything online. I just wanna have good conversations and everything. Cam is awesome. He really is a really cool person. Um, and then there's gonna probably be some other people there, hopefully that we run into and be able to say hi, take pics and stuff like that. So I'm truly excited for PAX East.
Yeah, I'm trying to get people that we have had on the podcast before or want to have on, and Sebastian's going to be there. We're going to try to get him on something, or part of something. Gamerheads is going to be there, so we'll try to get them on something.
I'm excited to meet them too. Gamerheads.
Just from Zelda Universe wants to do something, so we'll get her on something. There's a lot of people going, so I'm excited. I'm excited. Who else is going? Someone just messaged me about going. Who else is going to PAX? Oh, Asa Green River is going.
Yes, Asa's coming.
Yeah.
I need to find him and just give him a big hug.
I know. It's been a long time since we've talked, and I would, I kind of would like to have him back because he was fun. And then, I mean, you know how it goes. Everybody gets busy, and then you kind of forget to, catch up with people that you really need to catch up with. So I think PAX will be a good place to do that.
Yeah, I'm just like, I should have messaged him and be like, hey, if I see you and you hear Asa, and you see a black person running, that's probably me. I love Asa. So, well, Corey, how about we get into Snacktendo?
Yeah, snacks. So I just had some M&Ms before the show because it's a little bit later than we usually record. And I needed some sugar. So I had some of that and it was good. But that's kind of all I have to report. Because we recorded Sunday, I think. So, just only a couple days ago. And during the week, I don't eat garbage except for these M&Ms, I guess. So my week consists of breakfast, a mini snack for lunch, and then dinner. A chicken salad for dinner. That's my week. So nothing exciting to report, everybody. I'm boring now.
Okay.
I gotta lose that last 5 before PAX though, Ed. The elusive 5.
Yes.
I mean, it's all elusive now, but it's.
For this recording, I had just before I got on, I ordered Chili's.
Mm.
So
Man,
I
I've
got
been
the
craving their egg rolls recently. Their
Santa Fe.
Tex-Mex egg rolls.
Oh, the mugs are so good. Like I should have ordered some. Dang it.
I know they're so good.
I don't know what that sauce is. It's that spiciness.
It's it's a avocado ranch with jalapeno in it.
Okay.
That's what it
It's
is, I think.
it's just that man, that dip with that corn and just everything about it. You just eat it just like I can't dip it in anything else besides that sauce and
Hmm.
eat it.
Yeah.
With the beans in it and stuff like it's just so good. But yeah, I got like a 3 for 10 house salad, fries, and like a burger and that order a piece of Domino's for my crew. Um Thursday, no, Wednesday. I had Subway yesterday. They had a buy one get one free for their footlongs. So I got the Black Forest ham and a cold cut trio um and everything. And I was testing how they would do their deliver, like where it would come from, because there's a Subway about 15 minutes from my job that
Hmm.
you got to go on the not you got to go on the highway to get, but not like the tollway or anything, just the quick highway. So that was that. Uh, had some Twix candy bars. I really do miss the cookie and cream Twix.
Yeah,
Like,
we just started getting them again around here. So,
oh, they back?
hmm
Are they in like new packaging or?
no, no, they're still in that weird blue packaging.
Oh, really? Man, we hopefully we get it here. Um, I did try. You heard of C4, Corey?
Yeah, yeah, I've heard of it. It's like an energy
He,
drink.
yeah, I tried the Starburst one. Um, I think because of course well, it's a performance drink that they called it. It has zero sugar in it, and I got one just to test to see if I would like it. So I did the Starburst one. There is like a tropical blue that I might try next time. Um, it didn't really taste like Starburst in a sense.
Yeah,
I think because it's that they will go for that pink flavor Starburst, and I'm like, they should have made this like that red flavor of the Starburst. I mean, it. I think the waxiness of Starburst sometimes your when it touches taste when it touches your tongue, you could automatically think of a flavor that is Starburst. This not so much this one, and like the aftertaste, it was good. I mean, it was okay, but I'm just like, I'm not. I wasn't feeling it. I did not think it's because of the flavor. So that's why I'm gonna try the tropical blue, um, and everything. And then I seen we got some Gatorade water at my job, so I might have to try that just to see how that is. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much what I have snacked on. I haven't been up to Wisconsin to go to my grocery store to check out their snacks and everything.
mm,
Um, and I'm kind of like holding off on the Japanese snacks since I've been there for 2 whole weeks. And just like, okay, I can just hold off on this for a while. But pretty much that's all I've been like really snacking on. I did have Chipotle Monday.
mm.
Yeah, I think I had Chipotle Monday. Uh, and
Chipotle
everything.
sounds good too.
Yeah, I had their um one of their burrito bowls
Hmm.
with it. I think it was like some tender steak or tender beef kind of barbacoa or something like that.
Barbacoa,
Yeah,
like the beef, the shredded beef.
yeah, I had that one.
Mm.
It was pretty good and everything. So, but everybody, that's gonna be it then for Snack-tendo. Let's get into playing with power. Corey,
Mhm,
what have you
mhm.
been playing with power? Because there's a certain game that me and you both have been playing. Well, a game and a half, I should say.
Yeah. So I've actually been playing a lot. So I finished Hellblade, Senua's Sacrifice on the Switch last night. Last
Mm-hmm.
night? No, 2 nights ago. I don't know. One of these nights. So man, Hellblade's good, man. I can't wait for book club to talk more about this game. This is the third time I've played it, and I don't know. Every time I play it, I feel more connected to it, and just things things I've learned about myself over the last year or so, and then
Mm-hmm.
replaying this and kind of applying what I've learned about myself to this game, and um, what she's going through compared to things that I've experienced is, I mean, obviously this is a fantasy video game, right? But like the her tragedy and her psychosis and stuff is very real, and so it's just it's an incredibly special game. Everybody should experience this game, um, and the Switch version was actually really, it was more engaging for me. Um, Instead of just playing it on a TV.
Mm-hmm.
It's weird because, like, I think the handheld experience made it feel more personal too, just because, like, I don't know, I'm laying on the couch over there with the lights out, and, I mean, I have, like, a lamp on over here or whatever, but the lights are out, I have my headphones on, playing this game, it's real close to you, right? And, um, her voice and then the voices she hears are in your ears while you're like, when it's dark and that OLED screen is so bright and it's in your face and that's the only thing that you can see in the entire room is the screen. It like really transports you into this world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously like when you play it on a TV, it's huge and you're like kind of sucked into this world, but when the TV is bright, you see like your entertainment center, or things that you know what I mean, like you see the coffee table if you have a coffee table in front of you, and it's just kind of like you're immersed but you're not like sucked in.
Yeah.
And for some reason when the Switch is that close to my face and it's dark and I can't literally can't see anything else, I can barely see my thumbs on the Joy Cons, it really sucked me in. And yes, I know this isn't the optimal way to play it, but it might be for some people. And so the experience definitely felt more personal playing that way. It's a very special game. I tweeted out about it today, and like I think I did this the first time I played it on PS4, when it came out. But I thanked Ninja Theory for making this game for everyone who wakes up and tries, you know,
Mm-hmm.
who struggles with some sort of mental health issue, um, because it's hard, wait, and dealing with mental health issues is incredibly difficult. Uh, there have been there. I mean, it's how do I want to say this? It's incredibly important that they did this, and I almost wish they weren't making a second one, but also I have all the faith in the world that Ninja Theory is going to deliver on the second one.
Yeah.
So, Hellblade is a special game. I love it. I love it to death. It is a top 10 game of all time for me.
It it really, when you think about games and the health industry and everything, like this game is kind of like the best representation of them meeting together to showcase, schizophrenia, um, what it feels like to have that, but also how to put it in a video game and people, and you play as a character having that, even though she doesn't know that she has it, um, and everything. So, uh, it really, in the sense, I mean, mental health was growing and becoming uh more understanding and accepted that people, needed to get help in therapy and things like that. And we're in an age where, you know, if you need help, if you need therapy, it's out there and
Hmm.
people are getting it. There's no shame saying that I need help.
Hmm.
Um and
Yeah.
I think when I think Ninja Theory was kind of surprised at at the at yeah, they're surprised at the sale numbers, but they were probably surprised on this, on how many people who bought this game was experiencing it and talking about it in a good light. And then to see that part of their purchase was going to help, schizophrenia or do research or mental therapy and things like that. Like there was a benefit to owning this game. Um and everything.
I think what it did was made it truly made people more aware of just how desperate the mental health sector
Mhm.
needs recognized, needs acknowledged, and needs more help to help people. Right? Like it's yeah, it did a lot, and like that's it's actually like a big thing in sports right now too. Is mental health, uh,
Yeah.
and bringing it to the forefront. And um, a former Cavs basketball player, Kevin Love. If you're in the sports, you know who Kevin Love is. Um, he was a really big advocate for mental health while he was here in Cleveland. He still has a mental health foundation here in Cleveland, and it's still supported to this day. And LeBron supports it, and a lot of Cleveland athletes support it. And it's nice to see that, like, this, obvious, sports is like the ultimate manly man's thing to be into, and be tough and get through it, right? But like,
Yeah.
it's nice to see when, because you kind of look at it and when sports accept something in the sports sector, right, accepts something, you've made it, I think, in a sense, because obviously, like I said, sports is like the ultimate tough person thing, and you never want to show weakness, and all these things they tell you growing up, right? And something
Yeah.
that I struggled with for a long time, right, because I was playing sports, and that's just something that you were told and taught. And uh, it doesn't matter, just tough it out, get through it, and there's, I don't know how they coach kids now, right? But like, that was tough, it was tough. I mean, I enjoyed playing sports just as much as anybody else who was playing at the time did, but like, doesn't mean it's not tough on you. And so, uh, stuff like that, and stuff like Hellblade, and um, it's a special thing. And I want to thank Ninja Theory again on this podcast for making this game,
Yeah.
and hopefully really making a true sequel that will have just as big of an impact as this one, so.
Yeah. I'm 1/4 through the game. I think I just got done with the fire boss.
Mm,
So now I'm going on the left side
mhm.
and going through that. I've already died about 6 times and stuff. And a couple of them are not my fault. Um because like the thing with Hellblade is that it doesn't teach you the control. You have to pause the game to look at the controls on what to do, and I didn't know that there was a run button. So when
Mm.
you focus on the symbol, and it brings you to this memory of this village being on fire and stuff. You got to run through it. Was walking to the door, and I got to the door and died. I'm just
Mhm.
like, oh, okay. Then there were times that I was trying to find the right way and everything, and died like that. Like I was dying because of
Mhm.
not being able to see where the path is, or
Mhm.
something control wise and camera wise, which I'm going to try to join the discussion um for Hellblade. But that was kind of my just like, okay. So if my progress end up getting deleted, then I'm just gonna restart from the beginning because I know everything, and just make my way there.
Mhm.
Make my way back with it. But I am enjoying it. Um, I kind of feel like the game doesn't need combat in a sense.
Yeah, but it's the yeah, I mean, I kind of agree, but also, like, that's how you draw you know,
Yeah,
that's how you draw the I don't wanna say casual crowd, but that's how you widen the market, right? That's how you get people who maybe wouldn't normally play a game like that to play it, right?
right,
So,
yeah. I,
uh,
I I know it has that God of War or over the shoulder kind of style, um, mixed in with their own style of combat. But I'm like, Ninja Theory, you're good at just having third party action, with it. And it was just something that wasn't gelling well with me. But it is what it is. I can't change it. I just got to make it through and everything. But I am enjoying it for what it is. And hearing the stories when you go to the stone
mhm.
and they're telling about the land and stuff.
Yeah, Daruth is an interesting character too. But we'll save the deep, deep, deep stuff
Yeah.
for book club.
And great voice acting.
Mhm.
I gotta find out who the voice actor is.
Yeah,
Just phenomenal.
yeah.
When
Daruth is an interesting character. Obviously the story that's surrounding Dylan is an interesting character, uh, or is an interesting story, and how Senua still thinks she can save him, right? Even though
hmm
she's literally carrying his severed head on her hip. Um, and like her connection to her mother throughout the game, and her father, and ending up kind of being the dark presence that you hear throughout the game. Is like, man, this game has like, the lore is so deep, and so it I was like, really, I fell down a rabbit hole after I finished it the other day, of just like, of the storytelling, and the care, like, just how these characters are delivered in the game, and it's really interesting.
and I feel that Hellblade 2 is going to try to deliver that same experience, but evolve it and
Mhm.
everything. Because right now with and I know this is directly for just Microsoft with Hellblade 2, but um I think they're going to try to go for a very intricate story, um and see, and really show how she struggled with probably more voices while going through whatever adventure she's going through and stuff. So it feels like the first game did is the mental health game, and the second one hopefully doesn't feel like a franchise game, but still explore more of the mental health that she's
Mhm.
experiencing, that she doesn't know about, but we as the players in this modern age do know.
Mhm. Yeah.
So but go ahead, Corey. What else
Um,
were you playing? I'm sorry.
so I'm still on my journey with Final Fantasy VII. This is the game I think I'm going to primarily focus on now. Now that Hellblade is over, until, I don't know. I think Brothers is our book club game for April. Um, we'll see. But Final Fantasy VII is the game that I'm focused on now. I just got out of Midgar. I just got to the point where Aerith was kidnapped, and um, I said this the other night on the Boss Rush podcast, but I'll repeat it here. Is like, I think growing up on with the Nintendo 64 instead of a PlayStation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You were Nintendo kids were always opposed to Sega, and then PlayStation was like the third company. You're like, what is this thing, right? And obviously, PlayStation took off faster than anybody expected it to at the time. But as a Nintendo 64 kid and a Nintendo invested kid at the time with Nintendo Power, and obviously I got a Dreamcast, was really into Dreamcast too, and I never had a PlayStation. I never had a PlayStation, and I never knew the importance of Final Fantasy VII. I mean, I think Final Fantasy VII, and it's not a perfect game by any stretch, right? Especially in 2024, right? I mean, this game came out in 1997. But I can see the pieces of why this game was so important to a lot of people and JRPGs in general, right? I mean, the characters are, and I think it helps too that just over the years I've gotten to know these characters just through paying attention to the gaming industry, right? Like obviously Cloud and Sephiroth are iconic characters for a reason. That whole cast is pretty iconic for reasons. I mean, Tifa and Aerith and Barrett are all iconic, and they're iconic for a reason. This was kind of like the first major ensemble cast that I think mainstream gamers latched onto. It wasn't just, oh, I'm not just Link, or I'm not just Mario, or I'm not just Sonic, right? I mean, yeah, Super Nintendo had a lot of great JRPGs, but JRPGs didn't really become mainstream until Final Fantasy VII. I mean, there were ads on buses and park benches, and they were on Subway cups or whatever restaurant was advertising for them at the time, and obviously PlayStation was pushing it, and there were big standees of Cloud at Babbage's, I remember, and I was like, what is this? I just want to go in and get this. I just want to go in and get something like GoldenEye and go home, right? Like, I don't care about any of this. But now that I'm sitting down and actually playing with it, well, actually, the other thing I should say is like I just always made fun of Final Fantasy VII, right? I played nine was my first Final Fantasy. When I got a PS2, I got Final Fantasy 9 and played it before 10 came out, and 10 was really the first one that I ever like really truly fell in love with. I love 9 too, but and then I played 8 after 10, and that was weird going backwards to 8, right from 10. I mean, first of all, PS2 game to PS1 game, and then two games ago, and the junction system was, that's a weird game. 8 is a weird game. I really like it. I'm a defender of 8, but it is a weird game. But then you go to 7, and you're like, oh man, I was at the time, I kind of figure I was burnt out on JRPGs because I played them all back to back to back. And 7 is clearly, from a gameplay standpoint, not as good as the ones that followed. Sans 8, maybe you could argue, but 9 and 10 are just way better games in terms of gameplay and mechanics and stuff. But I can totally understand why this game was so important, and people love the cast for reasons, right? And people love the story. I mean, it's I would say that the Aerith moment, I'm not going to spoil it here for anybody who doesn't know, but it's the Darth Vader moment of video games, right? Everybody knows the Aerith spoiler by now, whether you've played it or not. I think anybody who's ever picked up a video game controller knows the Aerith spoiler. But I mean, it was on the front of the New York Times like a week ago, which is insane to think about. The front page of the New York Times had a picture of Aerith on the front of it. Weird times we live in. But anyways, but now I'm sitting down and playing it, and I'm 6 hours in, and I've spent time with these characters, and I've gotten to know these characters over the last 20 years in general. It's a pretty, for 1997, it's a pretty incredible game from a storytelling perspective. And the characters kind of chemistry together is very good for 1997. So I really like it. I'm on my way to find Aerith. I think this is the point where I'm going to maybe use a walkthrough because I know you can miss party members. I think you can miss Yuffie and Vincent entirely. At, I think those are the characters you can miss. And I don't want to miss any characters. I don't need to 100% it, but I definitely don't want to miss any character interaction or anything. So I'm really enjoying it. I really like it. The Final Fantasy VII Rebirth hype has gotten to me to the point where like I need to play these games so I can get there. And I mean I probably won't get to Rebirth until next year, if I'm being perfectly honest, because I don't want to play all these back to back to back to back and burn myself out, right? I will probably play 7 in Crisis Core first, take a break, play something else, maybe something like Xenoblade, because I've kind of circled the Xenoblade series to play as well. And in a real way, a serious way. And then I'll, play Remake and then something else and then Rebirth. So I'm really enjoying it. I also played the Princess Peach Showtime demo. I don't know if you played it yet, Ed.
I did, yes.
How do you feel about it?
It got me. I mean, I was already going to buy it, but I'm just like, okay, this Collectodon, this bakery one where I'm trying to like get it all together, get it right and stuff. Now that I know it, I'm like, I am definitely going. It did have some issues with the frame rate at times, but I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. I think Nintendo probably will patch it once they release the game and stuff. But I definitely was enjoying it. I think because there's a mixture of gameplay ideas in this. I think it's going to keep a lot of people on their toes. And I think the replayability is going to probably be high because it really feels like you want 100% the game. It's not too hard. It definitely is on the easy side. And I do love the fact that like, the enemies are just kind of like moving slow, so you can like really attack them and everything. And they, of course, they borrow Platinum's dodge mechanic by pressing B or A and stuff. And it it really just like automatically does it, so it makes it easier for you not to get hit or anything. But I definitely enjoyed it. I'm like, oh yeah, I won't be able to get it until I come back from PAX. But I definitely love this game. I think it's going to be. I won't say it's a game for Metacritic that's going to be in the 90s, but I think this is kind of like, I would say. I think when I play more, I probably would give it a B plus, A minus. Right now, even though that's just the demo, I had to play more of the game, the full game, and go through the frame rate and stuff. But it looks well. It plays great. It's like really when you're playing as Princess Peach, the control is good. The way she moves, the way the attack goes, and everything. Like it feels really, really good. So I can't wait to play more of it. I thoroughly enjoyed this demo, for it and everything, and I think I'm gonna probably go back and play more of it to see if I can get everything for it.
Yeah, it seems like a really fun kind of collectathon platformer with, I mean, I think where it's going to make or break people is how unique the costumes feel, right?
Yes.
I think that's where it's going to be like, oh, I'm going to push through this, or I'm going to, okay, this was fun for a couple hours, but maybe I'll just bail out here. And I'm really glad they put a demo out because I think that's going to help. I think it's going to help the game.
I did laugh with the enemies and the birds and stuff. We're taking all the bakery out items. That was kind of funny, animation wise, looking at it.
Yeah. Uh, so I enjoyed it. I will, like you, I'll probably have to wait till after PAX to get it. I mean, I am probably gonna have to wait till after my kids go to college to buy any more video games the way this house costs. But it's been fun to experiment with these demos that Nintendo's been releasing for their smaller games.
Yes.
I'm glad they're doing it. Pikmin, I think, was another one that really benefited from it. I think another Code Recollection was another game that probably really benefited from it. So I'm excited to try more. I'll play it more at some point. My daughter is into it, because my daughter loves the Mario movie.
Yes.
And this is like a very recent development. I mean, we watched it and she liked it when we watched it, but as we've watched it a couple more times and she like really loves Princess Peach. She loves Princess Peach. And so I told her that this Princess Peach game was coming out and she was like all about it and she wants to. The thing is, though, it's like she doesn't understand that like video games, you have to play the game to unlock these costumes and whatever. She just wants to turn it on and run around and change into these costumes and
Yeah.
play dress up essentially with a little bit of a game attached to it. So I'm trying to tell her that that's what it is, but my daughter has a mind of her own, so she'll just decide whatever she wants. But yeah, I think I'll probably get it and play it with her to some degree, because she's starting to show a lot of interest in video games, especially franchises and things that she's interested in, like Disney Dreamlight Valley. She's really been begging me to play, so yeah. But the last game, Ed, I want to talk about, and I think I found the sequel to Shovel Knight I have always wanted. In a game called Bat Boy. And I heard about this game like probably 6 months ago, maybe over the summer. A couple podcasts. Basically it's like a group of friends who pretend superheroes with their sports equipment because they're all good at specific sports, right? And so they use their sports equipment to dress up as superheroes and fight crime at night. And basically, Bat Boy is the baseball player, and so Bat Boy's friends get brainwashed by this evil phantom from another dimension that raids their town, right? And essentially, it becomes Shovel Knight. It is Shovel Knight, man. It's incredible. Playing the first 2 levels, it might be better than Shovel Knight. This game is incredible. And I don't know why nobody talked about it. Nobody's talking about this game. It came out like a year ago. And I've been meaning to buy it, and I had enough eShop credit to like finally cave and get it. This game's incredible. The platforming is top notch, Ed. You're gonna love this. The platforming is better than Shovel Knight. The way it feels to jump onto platforms and stuff. And just the way the game is designed, and the enemies are fun. Like the enemies in the first level are pigs that throw baseballs, and you can like swing your bat and hit the baseballs back at them and like knock them over, and then they drop gems that I assume you can buy upgrades later for. You can throw your bat like a boomerang, and it's like it'll stay in one spot, and you can use it as an extra platform to get to jump higher.
Yes.
This game is awesome.
I'm looking at the video of it.
Yeah. And I think it might turn into some sort of Mega Man game where you can essentially switch out moves with other sports. I think. I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. Bat Boy, it's $17.99. You guys should buy it. I'm not kidding.
And Nindy probably talked about it. I'll probably hit him up.
Yeah.
If he talked about it, it's like yeah, it's something that I just never heard of. Um, and now watching, I'm just like, oh, okay, I have to see what it is
Yeah, the
and
art style
everything.
is really cool too. It kind of looks a little bit like the Messenger, like that kind of color
Yeah,
palette. It's so fun, man. This game is really fun. Um, yeah, it's $14.99. I'm sorry, it's $14.99. Uh, if you like Shovel Knight,
mhm.
you're gonna love this game. That's all I can say. If you like Shovel Knight at all, so and you also have this little like bird friend who like makes fun of you and cracks jokes and kind of tells you where to go if you get lost, and it's really neat, really really neat.
Yeah, that looks it looks really. I like the kind of artwork that they have
Hmm.
for it.
Yeah, it's got that painterly look like Pokemon almost.
Yeah,
So also, by the way, side tangent, did you see that ukulele in the Impossible Lair was $2.99 last week?
it's still on sale. I just seen it on Switch, and I'm just like, do I get it digitally for that? Because I
Yes.
think I already own it on Switch from Black Friday.
Well, if you don't own that game, it's $2.99. And if you like
I
Donkey Kong
mean,
Tropical Freeze, this is a game for you.
I mean, I'm like, well, I won't be on a plane for 2.5 hours, so
Hmm. You
might as
got a
well
long
have
plane ride, Ed.
a digital copy of the game. I'll probably end
Hmm.
up buying it. Plus, I got points that I could snag it.
Yeah, see, no brainer. No brainer.
Thank you, Corey, for your convincing, your persuasion.
I know.
Ah.
I know. I'm a Sagittarius. I'm apparently very persuasive. And that was our after dark topic the other day when we recorded it, was horoscopes and
Uh-huh.
if they like really made sense for us. And so one of mine was I was very convincing and persuasive as a
Actually,
Sagittarius. So
which is weird because I'm an Aries, and you being a Sagittarius, we get along very well and
do
everything.
we?
We do. We actually do. We actually do.
Do we?
Because I was just like, who is the for Aries? Who is the sign to be married to be in love with? And it really was just like, for most of the positive that was going on, Sagittarius was number one. I was just like, maybe that's why me and Corey get along very well. Like we like
Hear that, everybody? Ed wants to marry me.
I didn't know what to marry you. Uh I could swoon from the outside, from the sidelines. Look, I swoon because you get like a video game. Stop it. You be like, Ed,
Buy it.
right?
Do it.
You'll have you be like, Ed, Corey, I swoon over retro stuff that you have shown me from finding your at your parents' house.
I know. It's all here now.
You got everything.
I think so. I don't know. I don't know. I just, by the way, speaking of not spending money on games, I just bought a WarioWare for $30 on Amazon. So,
Oh, nice.
uh, yeah, it was on sale, so I got it. My wife can yell at me later for spending money on stuff that's not house appropriate, but that's okay.
Um, well,
I
for oh, go
I
ahead.
have I'm having this seller's remorse, I guess, in terms of physical current gen Nintendo games. And so, you know how I go through this every couple years, Ed, where like I keep flip flopping, but like, I don't know, based on our conversation last week, I'm like, I'm focused. This is what I'm doing.
Hmm.
Nothing's stopping me. right. So that might be a fun expansion pass topic at some point. I have some things to get off my chest.
Like focusing on games and stuff. Well, even though you said that you were trying to go through a purge,
Yeah.
so
Well, that I mean of like other stuff, not games, but
games.
of other stuff.
Well, everybody, for me, what I've been playing, like I mentioned earlier, Hellblade. Uh, I make my way through that. I played Contra Operation Galaga on Xbox. I can see the difference with the frame rate, but I think I'm still gonna get it on Switch. Um, and then just get a sale for it on Xbox.
It
I've
feels
been
like a
playing it.
Switch game. I mean,
It
it looks like a Switch game. It's a Switch game.
I mean, it feels. I'm not really worried about the frame rate or anything. I'm having fun with the challenge and learning the level. Like, and every time I keep seeing the trailer and stuff, because I know they dropped the new trailer and everything, I keep getting excited for it. Uh, I don't know how well it's going to do or anything, but I'm excited to play this game, to like buy it and go through it and stuff, and just learn by memorization and pulling off tricks and everything. Like, definitely for me, it would be a streamable game on my Series X if I ever get back to streaming on Twitch and stuff. Like, it would be for that reason. Um,
Yeah, I've heard I mean, I've heard mixed things. I played it and, you know, I like it. I've heard mixed things from other outlets, but I've also made it a thing to not listen to other people that I don't really care about. And so I've played it. I like the dash move.
yeah.
I wish it was on a different button, but I really like the implementation of the dash.
So
It makes the game feel more kinetic.
I on Switch, and so on Switch I've turned it to my ZR button, and then on Xbox I did it on the right trigger.
Can
Um,
you can map buttons then?
yeah, you can map
Okay.
buttons.
I didn't look, so I wasn't sure. Um,
Yeah, because I didn't actually know that it had a dash. Because when I got to the final boss, I'm like, man, I think I did a dash move from some of the stuff, and everything. But yeah, I'm having a great time with that game, with that demo. So I'm super excited for the full game. Been playing Ace Attorney, Apollo Justice. I'm on. I I gotta go through the last two cases of the second game. Because um it kind of, if you go through all of the, if you go through everything, it kind of gives you like a achievement for the game and stuff. So that's the only reason why I need to do that and everything, and then I can start on the third game, in this collection, and then be done with it. Um, and stuff. I just picked up Nobody Saves the World and the
mm.
DLC on Switch. It was like only $12, so I'm excited to play that and beat it and stuff.
Shout out to Drinkbox.
Yeah, I should reach out to them. I would love to do like a 1v1 with them. Um,
Yeah, I've thought about that too, just in terms of reaching out. I mean, it's probably just go to their contact page and ask them. Right? I mean, that's how we've done everybody else. So, or found emails or people. It's probably not that
yeah,
difficult. Uh,
because I think
I
what
mean,
I
they're
like
big, but they're not that big. We had Yacht
right.
Club on. They're not much bigger than Yacht Club in terms of popularity. So,
Yeah, and I think Drinkbox is literally, yes, for a lot of their games, they were like PlayStation exclusive, and then they broke out as they got bigger. But I think like you can see their love and passion in their games, and that's kind of what I like about them and everything. Because
mhm.
Melee 1 and 2, I love those games. Are just so good and so fun, and they're funny and
Yeah,
stuff. So
yeah. And Severed was, I mean, that Vita game that they put out, Severed. I
mm,
think it's on Switch now, but it was kind of like that first person dungeon crawler where you use the touchscreen to swipe. Um, that was interesting at the time. I mean, obviously every game does it now, but that was interesting at the time.
Yeah.
So,
So,
but
um,
Nobody Saves the World was fun. I played a little bit of it. It was fun.
I played it on Xbox through Game Pass when I had the trial, and
Mm.
then when my trial thing went out uh for the month and I didn't subscribe to Game Pass, I literally just like
Mm.
I'll get to it when it goes on sale and stuff. So now that it's on Switch on sale, I picked it up and stuff. And I got like I said, it's a bundle, so it's like the DLC and the main game. So I'm
Mm.
excited to play more of that and then finish it up and stuff. I am going to get it back into some more Nintendo games and everything cartridge wise. And the reason why I say cartridge wise is that because I got my library of Nintendo games that there's just so many games that I need to finish and play and
I know.
even start. So
There's so
um,
many games, man. Like, even if this was the only podcast I was doing, like, there's still not enough time to play everything on this console.
exactly. So that's what.
If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.
For me, everybody been playing with Palmer. We're gonna get into Family News. Corey, take it away.
Oh shoot! Right. Okay. Family News. Okay. Sorry, I was forgot that was a segment on the show. I forgot we were just kind of talking. All right. So we're gonna kick this off with a sad note that happened earlier. Well, I guess by the time you hear this, last Thursday. March 7th, we found out. The famed artist, distinct anime artist, creator of Dragon Ball, and artist of games like Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest, Akira Toriyama, passed away at the age of 68. And this was... obviously saw a lot of outpouring for him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he is and even though I'm not a Dragon Ball or Dragon Quest person or a Chrono Trigger person, Akira Toriyama has been so influential on literally everything you've seen, right? Since the 80s, in pop culture and video games and anime. And even, I mean, you look at Dragon Ball and you see Dragon Ball in Pokemon, you see Dragon Ball in everything, and then you look at something like Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest. Those are two obvious video game franchises that are, he did the art for those, and his art still inspires those games. I mean, look at Dragon Quest 11, clearly Akira Toriyama, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I was reading this thing that Stealth put out on Twitter. If you don't know who Stealth is a pretty big Nintendo advocate, historian, fan, whatever you want to call him. He put out this thing yesterday, I want to say, that even Miyamoto was inspired by him. And you look at Mario's run animation in Mario 3, and you match it up with running animation from an early anime that Akira Toriyama did, and it's clearly influenced by that, and so I think the world, even if you are not into anime or Dragon Ball or Dragon Quest or these types of games or shows or movies or whatever, Akira Toriyama's art. You've seen it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it, you've felt it in other things. And the world lost a great artist and a great creator. And it's very sad to hear.
Yeah, he really had a distinctive style. Um, I mentioned Chrono Trigger because he was part of the Dream Team.
Hmm.
So he did that art. That's kind of how I found out about Akira Toriyama um was through Chrono Trigger on Super Nintendo. I
Hmm.
think Dragon Ball wasn't even out here yet, and it was Dragon Warrior at that time.
Hmm.
I seen Dragon Ball, but I seen like the OVAs, everybody on public access TV. So like on Tuesday in my area, around 11 o'clock, they would have anime night on public access, and so they were showing Japanese movies and episodes from TV series and stuff from Japan that got like not so much dubbed like vocally. Well, some of them were dubbed vocally, but a lot of them were subtitled and everything. And I seen one of Dragon Ball Z movies and everything. And then when the cartoon came, it was on Fox Kids, and Dragon Ball Z happened to be also on Fox Kids, and but people actually knew about more of Dragon Ball Z and Akira Toriyama because of Toonami.
Hmm.
Um, so
Yeah, but I mean, like even things clearly inspired by that, like
by him, yeah,
Avatar, The Last Airbender. You
yep,
have Naruto. You have, I'm sure, One Piece to some extent. Attack on Titan. Like all these, everything. Like I said earlier, Pokemon. Like the anime art style. He is anime. You know.
yeah. He's uh, you know, of course, he's a manga artist, and there's been different spins of Dragon Ball and stuff. Even in his age, him creating art and characters like Sandlot that's coming to Xbox. Will that's his latest game from his latest. From one of his mangas.
Hmm.
But like Dragon Quest 12, like in reality,
Uh,
if you look
that,
at it,
that'll probably
like
be his last thing, right? I
that's
mean,
his
Dragon
last
Quest.
thing. Yeah. So it's and we don't know how much because he probably was commissioned to do other stuff too before he passed away, but like Dragon Quest 12 would be like the last game, and unless they could if 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 they could if they could take his style and his look and continue to go on from Dragon Quest, uh, the Dragon Quest series, it would be very interesting. Like I said, he has a distinct style.
Hmm. It's so distinct that I
Everything.
think he actually owns the, like, well, I guess his estate would own it now, but like he had that style trademarked, right? I mean, like
Hmm.
that's why all anime looks slightly different, is because I think he owns that art style, which is why I think certain Dragon Quest games took so long to come out over here, is because the art wasn't licensed, you know? And I
Yeah.
partially think that's why there's not a Chrono Trigger remake right now. Honestly, is because that art is his, and the DS version was like took forever to come out, because of I think he was like redoing certain things or cleaning up the cutscenes or something. He had something to do with that as well.
So he was um Square Enix and him because he did the animation for the PlayStation 1 version. And so uh it was more of a port thing than anything else. I think it was just like Square Enix getting that game ported onto the Nintendo DS because it's the same as the PlayStation, but the PlayStation version had all the loading
Mhm.
because it was on disc. That's how we as America got Final Fantasy 5 because Final Fantasy uh 3, 4, and 5 didn't come to America until the DS versions came. Like today, like kind of like remade them and put them and five didn't come out till they did that packaging for Final Fantasy V and Chrono Trigger. Chrono Trigger had those additional animated scenes because they weren't in the original game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Chrono Trigger was planned for the Super Nintendo CD, but I'm not sure. I know Secret of Mana was, but that's a whole different story and everything. But um, to hear that he passed away, and they announced it after his funeral and everything, that's
Which
very.
was good because I mean, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but
Oh
like,
no.
remember when Satoru Iwata passed away and like people were like lining the streets of his
Hmm.
funeral, and uh, I don't know if anything good or bad happened because of that, but people were traveling to go see him one last time, and so
It
announcing that after his funeral was probably a good because he was way more influential than Satoru Iwata ever was.
Yeah. And we're back. Sorry, everybody. We had a technical difficulty that happened that was out of our control. The last thing I was going to say with Akira Toriyama and Iwata was that, Iwata for gaming was dearly missed. And for Akira Toriyama for anime and manga, he is dearly missed.
Yeah. Yeah, he, he will be missed. He definitely will be.
Yeah.
Um, so,
Dude,
uh,
before we get to the next story, it scared me. Um, because I was just like, even though okay, Akira Toriyama is gone and Iwata's gone, I was just like, God protect Miyamoto as long as you can, because
I mean,
I'm not.
he's in his 70s.
I
I
know,
mean,
but I'm not. I'm. I literally told myself I am not ready for that. I.
yeah.
I didn't. I just had a like a daydream and stuff, and I called into work because of Miyamoto's death.
Hmm. I mean, the unfortunately, this first and second generation of game developers are gonna it's gonna start sooner than later, and it
Mm-hmm.
it sucks. It sucks to think about for sure. Especially when you think about like Miyamoto and I mean, Kojima's going to be 60 or is 60 or is in his, like he's, somebody like that. Or, I mean, even someone like Reggie or, I mean, not that it's going to be soon, but like could be, I mean, Akira Toriyama was only 68, you know,
Yeah.
68 is young.
Yeah.
And unlike unlike Americans, Japanese people usually take care of themselves much better than
Very
uh,
true.
so, um, which is even scarier. So rest in peace, uh, Akira
Toriyama.
Toriyama. Your your art and your abilities will live on. They are legendary. Um, so he will live through that. And
Yes.
yeah, man, that's it's tough, man. I mean, we lost the Suikoden guy too recently,
Yeah.
right? That was what 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, because he yeah, he passed away.
This is man, this is tough. So, all right, Ed. Before man, I can't believe my power went out in the middle of that. That was so crazy. It was scary, actually, a little bit. Um, Speaking of scary, have you seen these Animal Crossing Legos?
Yeah.
Tom Nook with long legs is
Interesting
scary.
to see.
Scary is the correct term. Oh man. But I think the Isabel set looks cute. My daughter's kind of into Legos, and this Isabel set looks like something she could probably do.
Uh
I
huh.
might get it for her. Kind of want to get it for her. I think she would enjoy it, especially because like if I want to get her into video games, I got to get her into stuff that's kind of surrounding video games, like the Mario movie.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so and she's like kind of into Pokemon. Um, but she's only in the Pokemon, really only in the Pokemon because my nephew's in the Pokemon, and they're like super close. Uh, but look, I'm not going to judge if she's into Pokemon. We're going to play Pokemon. Okay, that's the rule.
Very true.
So look, I'd rather her be into Pokemon than something like, I mean, no offense to Fortnite, but Fortnite. I don't know. I think yeah, that's a different conversation. We'll save it for later. But what do you think of these Animal Crossing Legos? Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I I'm surprised that it actually happened. Uh, in everything, because I didn't know that they were going to do this Lego set with Animal Crossing. It kind of felt to me personally that it came out of nowhere. It probably did get announced, and I just forgot the story. But I think it's very cool that they got it. They're very by looking at them, they are very like the Legos for the young kids.
Mm,
Um, uh, with Duplo, they have that
hmm
kind of feel to it and its
Yeah,
appearance. But I think this is cool. I think it's gonna do great. It's just yeah, people now, a lot of kids who were into the series, and definitely people who purchase Animal Crossing and getting a Switch. I think this set people are going to dive in and get and definitely enjoy and showcase. So I love it. They look cool. I like them.
yeah. I'm I don't know. I've been really kind of like revisiting a lot of things. Like I Lego is something I've always wanted to be into, but we never really had the money, or I was into too many other things that were expensive, that Lego was kind of the one thing that got cut out. Um and so I don't know. I kind of want to revisit these Nintendo sets and maybe build some of them, especially with my kids.
Yeah.
Uh, I think they would, especially like I said, my daughter. She would. I think she would go nuts over these, actually, especially the Mario ones. Maybe not the Animal Crossing ones because she doesn't really know Animal Crossing, but maybe. So
think, yeah, I think it'd be cool.
yeah, we'll see. Maybe we'll get a pack and try it out. They're kind of expensive, but that's okay. Legos are always expensive.
Okay. Nintendo or not, those Star
Yeah,
Wars sets are ridiculous in price.
yeah. Oh my gosh, I typed in AN and the first thing that came up was Animal Crossing amiibo.
Oh
Jeez.
wow.
Okay. Oh, this set's only $14.99. Wow, these Animal Crossing ones are pretty kind of
Reasonable.
cheap. Yeah, interesting. The Isabel one though, these are third party because they've sold out. That's why. Okay, and people are reselling them. Okay, that explains a lot. All right, we're moving on before I start falling down this rabbit hole of Nintendo Legos and start making a list of ones that I want. All right, Ed.
Oh boy, this nonsense.
Warner Brothers has made the absolutely smartest decision they could possibly make. That was sarcasm, everybody, if you didn't know. Warner Brothers Discovery, despite having one of the best-selling single-player games of 2023, and by one of the best, I mean the best-selling single-player game of 2023, and one of the biggest games as a service bombs in 2024, are doubling down on their commitment to games as a service. Um, where I no, did I not? Oh, it's down here. Okay, yeah. So basically, what they said. Where's this quote? Let me see if I can find. Um, we're doubling down on games as a service as an area where we think there is a lot more growth and opportunity that we can tap into with the IP that we have and some capabilities we have on the studio where we're uniquely positioned as both a publisher and a developer of games. So um, this is what's his name? Hold on, it's
JB Peretti.
Yes, JB Peretti, who is the head of WB Discovery's gaming division, according to GameSpot.
He needs to be fired for this
Dude,
nonsense.
this is a suit
Terrible idea.
decision. This is not his. I would guess this is Warner Brother Discovery's decision and not necessarily his. But also, yes, this is a terrible decision. Rather than just launch a one and done console game, how do we develop a game around, for example, Hogwarts Legacy or Harry Potter, where the live service that is a live service where people can live and work and build and play in the world on an ongoing basis? I will say, to his credit, I guess, the Wizarding World would be an amazing world to live in as an MMO, right?
Mm-hmm.
Especially the way they did with Hogwarts Legacy, where it's like takes place way before the movies, doesn't really have any effect on the future of the franchise. You can live in that world. You can create your own character, go to class. That makes way more sense than Suicide Squad, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but also, like Warner Brothers has success on the games as a service front with Mortal Kombat, right? I mean, Mortal Kombat and Injustice are games as a service, whether you want to admit it or not, right? Those games, fighting games make sense though. You know, you buy the fighter season pass, you get new fighters, you get new cosmetics. Uh, that fighting games can last for 4 or 5, 6 years before another one comes out.
But those games are already completed games that don't need online to run. You
But they're still
know,
games as a service. They're still in Street Fighter 6 and Mortal Kombat 1 are games as a service.
but then
Totally.
that's any game that has DLC then as games as a service.
Yes and no. Yes and no. It depends. It depends, I think.
Well, I think that's what the definition. I'm like, what is the definition? Because it's as a I think as a game as a service, you can't pick and choose which is going to be it and which is not. If there's a game that's already completed and stuff, and you
mhm.
just get extra content and everything, how is that a service that's going to continue? Because like once they get done with the character and stuff, then that's literally the game. And once again, it's not needing uh it's not needing an online service or anything to make it continues and stuff and everything. Like Street
Yeah,
Fighter, like oh, go ahead.
I think when you look at a game as a service, um, there's some sort of seasonal model, right?
Mm-hmm.
You look at Destiny, there's 4 seasons in a year. You look at Fortnite, they have like 6 or 8 seasons a year. Mortal Kombat has a season pass, and they are on season 3 of Mortal Kombat 1, right? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
every season has been themed around a character. There's specific cosmetics that represent that character that you can get for every other character, and you can play online, and you can buy, in-game currency with real money. Uh, you can level up the battle pass to unlock certain skins and features and that kind of thing. Um, and as long as those battle passes keep selling, that will extend the life of the game. I think that's when you look at a game as a service.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they're talking about. I think when you look at a game like, like The Witcher or Cyberpunk or even something like Zelda recently, right? Or, Breath of the Wild or, they get one major or two major DLC drops, right? And that's it. Borderlands is an example where you bought what they used to call season passes. You got 2 or 4 DLC drops, and then that game's done, right?
Yeah.
I think the game as a service idea is you look at a game that doesn't have a true ending, right? It just keeps
Yes.
going. It can extend itself in various different ways. Um, I actually think story-driven games have a hard time driving forward. I mean, look at Destiny, right? And it's not that the game. Well, let me back up. The game is having a tough time story-wise, but also like I think when you have a story-driven game like that, or something that has really true meaningful story that you can't get old story points from. I
Yeah.
think World of Warcraft had this problem too until they kind of fixed that to some extent at some point. But like half of Destiny 2 isn't even in there, and one of the points ties, like one of the things you can't play anymore ties directly into the final shape. Cade's death. You can't play it. You can't play that expansion anymore. It's just gone. Crow's transformation from Aldrin, just gone. Um, and on top of that, like, not only can you not go back and play that, but now that you can't go back and play that, you have a hard time drawing new players in, right? Because the story is what's drawing people in. So if you
Yeah.
can't play the beginning of the story, or like where they intend you to start with Destiny 2, you're not going to draw new people in because they can't start from that point. And so,
Where
um,
where Destiny 2 originally started at.
yeah,
You
and
know.
that's why I actually think Destiny 2 should end after the final shape and its subsequent episodes. And I actually think, personally, I think they are going to make a Destiny 3. I think that is the answer at this point. Whether people want it or not, the larger community wants it or not,
Hmm.
I don't know. But the only way you're going to draw new people in is to have a clean cut, and maybe not even call it Destiny 3. Maybe you just call it, you know, the World of Destiny, or Destiny Dimensions or something, because I have all kinds of theories about Destiny that we probably shouldn't start deep diving here. There's a time travel mechanic, there's a dimensional mechanic. I think there's going to be some sort of time jump slash um some sort of time jump slash dimensional jump, uh involving the Vex and Elsie Bray, where they're literally just going to reset, and whatever the next version of Destiny is going to be like they're going to restart, like reboot Destiny essentially.
Yeah.
And it's going to fit, and it's essentially what they did with Final Fantasy 14,
Where
because
they
a Realm
destroyed the
Reborn.
whole world and then
Yeah,
started
yeah,
over.
yeah. And like a Realm Reborn, like that original game is part of the lore of a Realm Reborn, right?
Yeah.
um So, which is really cool. And I think that would actually really be cool for Destiny, because then they can kind of, obviously the studio's seeing some shifts in personnel, and
Hmm.
something is happening there that we'll probably find out at some point at the end of June when the final shape comes out. Um, but like, I think that would be a way to have your cake and eat it too, essentially, where we're rebooting Destiny. Um, we you can still veteran players can still play the old raids and the old like the old end game content essentially, but all the campaigns are going to be new. It really doesn't have any effect on previous story. And
Yeah.
I think these episodes that are coming after the final shape are actually going to be the point where people start with this.
Yeah. I
So,
can see
but
that.
yeah, but in terms of games as a service, right? You have like the two different types. You have the MMO grindy RPG ones that you play with your friends, and then you have like the competitive ones like Fortnite or Rainbow Six Siege, or the
Yeah.
fighting games like Tekken is going to have a battle pass, right? Tekken 8. Mortal Kombat already has one. I think Street Fighter 6 has something similar. So that's what I mean by games as a service, is like there's not really an end to it.
There's an end, but the plan
there's an end,
is.
but like they leave it like some of it there's like an end to like the expansion or the campaign, but there's all kinds of other things that keep you engaged in the game. Competitive modes, PvE modes, dungeons, raids, strikes, patrols, lost sectors. And I'm just this is all just Destiny stuff, right? Like there's all kinds of things, the golden chests that you can search for on every planet, new story elements, new extra missions that unlock after the campaign, exotic mission quests. Like there's all kinds of things, right? And theoretically, like for Destiny, you could jump in, play the campaign, and jump out, right? Like they've really managed to actually put that in a good spot where, okay, your light level doesn't matter, your weapons really don't matter in the campaign, and you can play it. But then they also added the master mode campaign where all that stuff does matter, and your builds do matter, and your light level matters, and your whatever kind of you have to plan as a team to go in and conquer these missions strategically, and it's hard. And I think that's where people are finding the in terms of like these RPG style games as a service, they're finding out that it's really difficult to keep that going.
Like
And
Genshin
somehow,
Impact and stuff.
well, I think Genshin Impact and Final Fantasy 14 of all games have figured it out. They've really somehow figured it out. And even though Destiny was like the first one, really, outside of like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 11, like they, I would say this style of game as a service, right? I mean, like MMOs have existed since EverQuest, and even probably before that with text adventures and stuff like that. But EverQuest, World of Warcraft, Final Fantasy 11, Guild Wars, stuff like that. But in terms of what Destiny is doing, it was the first of its kind, and you haven't really seen anything like Destiny survive longer than a couple years other than Destiny, and Destiny has struggled to last 10 years. So it's the smaller competitive games that I think last longer as a game as a service, and I think probably fits the best in that mold. Rainbow Six Siege is still going, which is crazy to think about. Fortnite's 7 years old, dude. Fortnite came out the same year as the Switch, right? I think a lot of people forget that. That Fortnite is old.
That version of Fortnite came out, not the original version of Fortnite.
No, Battle Royale came out in September of 2017. The Save the World beta came out, I think, in 2016, which was the original version of Fortnite, what Fortnite was supposed to be, when Cliff Bleszinski was still there, kind of prototyping it, and then he left.
Was Fortnite on PS3?
No.
The physical copy was.
No, it was PS4 and Xbox One, which are those original Fortnite discs are worth a ton of money.
Right, because we used to sell them at Toys R Us.
I thought about trying to find one because my nephew is really into it, and I know he's like he's an awesome Fortnite player. He's like incredible to the point where like when he comes over, I don't even want to play with him because he'll just even if I'm on his team, I don't want to play with him because he's that good. But it's also the only game that he plays. So
right.
I mean, you know how you get when it's the only game you play, you become an incredible player. But I thought about finding it at some point, like the original disc, maybe before it gets way out of hand, and getting it for him for his birthday or Christmas or Hanukkah or something, because I think that he would flip out. I think he would be really excited. But then I would have to get my other nephew something and that is equally as awesome, and I don't know if
Expensive.
he I don't know what that would be for him. So
Right. Well, definitely for this WB thing, I say it's terrible because
oh yeah, WB,
players
by the way.
players are not asking for this, and I think once they see that there's really no money coming in, which is gonna end up laying off a lot of people, but that's the decision that WB has made. Um, I think they're gonna have to change their tune. I think that you just can't have this. You can't have this motto as your future business for gaming because it's not going to work out well for you. You can only do so much, and you can only have a certain amount of players who are going to get to the point where they don't care for games as a service. You know,
Mhm.
like you like yes, Destiny is a big one. Destiny is pretty much leading the pack. Fortnite may be, leading the pack now, but they both do something very different in their thing.
Mhm.
I think people just are going to get to a point where they don't want this anymore because yeah, it's a business thing for you, and yeah, we got to buy these expansions and season passes, but we're not getting constant content
Mhm.
and everything. And if your stuff is on where you have to rely on an online service and stuff, and that goes off, we can't play your game. Then like
Yeah.
we can't install our disc, or we can't press a button. We can't stream. Of course, we can't stream because we don't have no online. We can't do anything, and your service then
Mhm.
relies on it. Like Hellblade 2,
Yeah.
even though it's not so much. Well, I don't know how Hellblade 2 is seen, but like, excuse me,
It's
everybody,
digital only.
it's digital only, and people had to get kicked off the game because other people couldn't get on the service to play that game. Like,
Mhm.
and if that happens with a lot of games as a surface stuff, no one's going to be able to enjoy your $70 game, especially if it's boring and especially if your game is boring and it's a washing machine, because there's
I-
nothing changing in it. You're just adding cosmetics, a new look, a story beat here and there. Like, if nothing is really evolving the game, and we're still just doing the same random stuff that we've been doing in previous episodes or chapters or campaigns or whatever, it's going to get to a point where it gets very boring because it doesn't it doesn't feel like you evolve
mhm.
or you change anything up in the game. I
I
knocked I You know me, I knocked Destiny 1. I and everything.
well,
Like,
you're not the only one.
and I think people, yeah, I'm not trying to offend nobody, but I'm like, if a game feels like a washing machine kind of game to me, I will let you know because nothing is changing and I'm doing the same thing. And sometimes doing
And
that doesn't bring enjoyment personally to me and everything.
that's like the big thing too, is like with games as a service and kind of what Destiny has been going through the last really year or so, is you have to have the content ready to pump out,
Mm-hmm.
and like you almost have to have your first, I would say, couple seasons worth of content to pump out while you're developing other content, because I mean, Destiny had to delay the final shape, and it took a big hit, obviously, layoffs notwithstanding, and this season went from being 3 months long to 7 months long, and they don't have anything to fill that time except for, I mean, Guardian Games is going on right now, and they are creating a special event to fill time called Into the Light, which is, we don't really know what it is yet at the time of this recording. A lot of people's guesses is that it is they're kind of going to somehow bring old content back in a way to catch people up on the final shape, but we don't really know how they're going to do that. It's a wait and see situation, but at the end of
Mm,
the day, like I think that's why stuff like Fortnite and Rainbow Six and Ghost Recon and some of these uh competitive games as a service and Call of Duty Warzone and these are smaller experiences that take place kind of in one map essentially, right? And Fortnite's map changes every I think it changes every season, but the same structure is there for the map, right? And
yeah,
uh their content is skins for characters, weapon cosmetics, gliders, things of that nature, whereas something like the size of Destiny, you have to create entire worlds to go visit or design cutscene like real cutscenes every 3 months. You have to have story content ready
yeah.
uh, for these things, and so it's it's pretty incredible that the game has lasted this long with on the grand scheme of things, relatively small hiccups despite what the community says. I think obviously Bungie was learning as they're going because they obviously came from Halo, you know, not that it was a small budget game, but it's a linear first person shooter, right? With
Yes.
a competitive suite, right? To this, kind of semi open hub planet MMO that, Destiny 1 was a mess. Destiny 1 was a mess, right? The Taken King was supposed to be included in the original game. Um, Depending on, the game was supposed to start out like depending on what race you were, depending on your starting planet and your starting kind of set of missions. Um, Vault of Glass and Crota's End weren't supposed to come until later. Vault of Glass, I think not Vault of Glass. I think Crota's End was like rushed because um, they were afraid they weren't going to have enough content, and so and then Destiny 2 got delayed, right? I mean, that's why Rise of Iron exists, is because Destiny 2 was delayed, and uh, they had to create an expansion in 8 months. Uh, and they created a whole new area, a whole new land, a whole new social area, a whole new raid, which, by the way, Wrath and Machine, very underrated raid, I think, for Destiny 1. Um, but the Siva stuff and the Plague Lands and I can't believe they did what they did in 8 months with that expansion. It was incredible what they did. I really like Rise of Iron as an expansion. But now that games are taking, I mean, games are taking longer. They're more expensive. The always online stuff, you have to pay the server for the server costs and the server upkeep
Hmm.
and the engineers and the new engines to keep up with the new hardware. And I mean, Destiny 2 is still running on a version of the Halo Reach engine that was designed for a linear first person shooter and not this type of RPG, right? And they've updated the engine several times during the course of Destiny, but like that's another reason why content takes so long, is because it's literally spaghetti code
And
to try to get anything updated takes so long.
and I think that's
Um,
what's going to happen with that's what's happened with Suicide Squad is that it had multiple delays.
mhm.
It it came out, and then the game doesn't even give you an ending. It gives you to be continued, wait for the
Mhm.
next chapter, kind of the rest of the game has
Well,
to
that's how
come
they
out.
keep you. That's how they keep you engaged. That's a lot of game as a service.
Right. And I think that's it, because the thing about it is just like, if we're going to get this and then you tell us what the plan is, and of course something's going to happen and those plans get delayed, people are not going to be returning to your game anytime soon. And if they gotta wait and they only get like a 3 hour campaign that doesn't really do anything for it, they're going at one point, or they will get to a point where they're just going to completely drop the game, complete. And I think if WB wants to go with that business model, they can sure enough go ahead with it. But I think they're going to see diminished returns on it.
I just can't believe, and I know we spent a lot of time on this topic, but I can't believe they continued with Suicide Squad after seeing what happened to Avengers. You know, I just,
I think they have too much
especially
money
because like
already invested.
Especially because like Suicide Squad isn't nearly as popular as the Avengers. No offense. So I mean, I get that they wanted that synergy with the movies that no longer count towards anything in the universe and stuff, but man,
It's
rough.
it's Rocksteady.
I know.
It's one of those. It's one of those names that's the most like when you think of comic book video games, you're gonna think of Rocksteady for this one right
Yeah,
now.
but half that studio left because they didn't want to make a game as a service anymore. A couple like a year ago,
Yeah,
you know.
but it is what it is. Can't do nothing with that.
Yeah, it is what it is. All right, Ed, we're gonna. I guess we'll move on. This is a uplifting story, Ed. You ready for this?
Yes.
All right, this comes from a Game Informer. Amid industry wide layoffs that have already affected more than 6,700 people in 2024 alone, I think that number is actually higher now. On top of the 10,000 or so laid off last year, Capcom has announced it is increasing its starting salary in Japan by more than 25%. Plus, those already working for the company behind games like Street Fighter 6, Dragon's Dogma 2, and the Resident Evil franchise will be getting an unspecified increase in their salaries as well. This news comes by way of Video Games Chronicle, which reports that the existing pay for um, new hires is around 15 $1,560 a month in yen equivalent. But starting in 2025 fiscal year, which it starts April 1st, that will change to around $2,000 a month, representing a more than 25% jump in pay. So that's quite an increase, especially considering. Uh, I know $2,000 a month doesn't sound like a lot, but I mean, a start like a entry level job, that's probably a lot. Plus, you have to think about like their cost of living is different. The way
Mm-hmm.
their insurance works is different. The way, um, probably the way they're treated is probably a little bit different. And it's good on Capcom for doing this. You have to give it to them. They
Yeah.
they are they are doing everything right. They can't miss right now. They just
They
can't miss.
they've been successful in their business. With Street Fighter Five, um, Exoskeleton, Exo Primal probably did well. I can't really speak too much on that. Resident
Still
Evil
getting
Vid,
content. They
yeah,
just put
true,
out a battle pass. Exo Primal just put out a new battle pass for Game Pass. Well, for Exo Primal, and they advertising it on Game Pass. I don't know if you get it through Game Pass, but
yeah. Resident Evil Village been good. Monster Hunter, Rise, and its DLC across all platforms, and I think PC has been good. Like Capcom has been seeing good return on their investments in these games. So, instead of just letting people go and stuff, like we spoke about in our like I said in our expansion pass about the layoff stuff, is that Japan does stuff differently, and if they're going to keep people, and plus their new game that got coming out soon, um, like if they're going to be able to bring out these quality games, they got to keep people there and make them feel like their work is valued and stuff.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
like he might have
Yep.
said that he was just like we could have employees who make some phenomenal games, instead of having a short term goal of being financially successful. You know, that if he feels like that, if we let these people go just so we can keep some money and stuff, that's not going to work for us because that's only a short term. Then we got to really start over and lose money again because we need people to make us games.
Hmm.
So, why I'm like, it'll be easier if that if we keep people, make them feel safe and comfortable, and don't overwork them or and whatever, and they continue to make great games. As we see an increase in games being sold, then you'll see that raises and things like this, and the lack of not lack of the less worry of being laid off uh what happened.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, and I think we'll probably see more stories about this in Japan and other countries, mostly
Hmm.
Japan, but like we're seeing the negative aspect of laying off people, like I said, in our expression pass in America.
Hmm. Again, technical difficulties. Sorry, everybody. We got to handle this time though.
Yes.
It's Ed's fault this time, everybody. I want it noted. Not my fault. Ed's fault. No, but what I was, I'm just kidding. Uh, what I was saying was though is I think we're going to see another Japanese gaming boom. I think you're going to see
Mhm.
a lot. I think we're kind of already seeing it on the PlayStation side with like stuff like Stellar Blade. Um, obviously Kojima's making his games, and um, Nintendo's doing their thing, and Rise of the Ronin is coming, and Tecmo Koei is doing more interesting thing. We're seeing a lot of Japanese stuff across the board. Even, I mean, Microsoft's whole partner presentation was Japanese games for the most
Yeah.
part. Uh,
Shoot.
that
Just
new that new game, I always forget what it's called, that we thought was Onimusha but not Onimusha, looks awesome.
yeah, Sega just from the Game Awards of last year on how much love and excitement and feedback, positive feedback that they got.
Hmm.
Like of some of their older franchise, like that is it's like the researchers of Japan and their games is coming back, but this time
Hmm.
it's coming back with great results.
Hmm. Yeah. So yeah, good on Capcom, man. They are like they've totally had their Sega moment, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
obviously like Sega after the Dreamcast went through this period of they didn't know who they were and what they wanted to be as a company, and now we had that whole expansion pass on Sega could easily compete as if they made another console as a first party at this point.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, not that I care if they would or not, but they could easily compete in that market. And I think Capcom went through that obviously with the after the Resident Evil game, the 5 and 6, and Street Fighter 5, and I think one of the Monster Hunters was not as liked as the rest of them, and I think they really turned it around with you know Resident Evil 7, and then Monster Hunter World, and Resident Evil 2 remake, and you start building on that, and then Street Fighter 6. Now we're on Street Fighter 6, and a new Monster Hunter is coming out, and you have 4 Resident Evil games come out that were really engaging to people, and uh, you've had interesting experiments like Exo Primal that maybe weren't a hit, but I mean they got their money from Game Pass,
Mm-hmm.
so and people are obviously playing it if they're still putting content out a year later. So
Yeah.
that game clearly is doing something interesting. Um, and they're doing it without games as a service. They're doing it, they're making quality games. They're making quality experiences, single player experiences for the most part. Or their game as a service is Monster Hunter, right? I mean,
Yeah.
if you want to even call it that, I wouldn't call it that. I would just call it an expanded multiplayer experience, because they really only get 1 or 2 expansions every whatever, right? But um Capcom is the feel good story of the decade, I think, and um, them, Sega, Konami's trying, but who knows how hard they're trying. The jury's still out on that, right? With Silent Hill and Metal Gear's Delta or whatever it's called.
Konami had a run and probably still doing it of let other people use their IP, indies and
Well,
other
Ninja Turtles,
developers.
they put out that really good Ninja Turtles collection, which
Yeah,
is all I care about.
yeah.
But
So I think
they're also putting out that Rocket Knight uh pack with limited run, right?
yeah.
Um,
So
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I think Konami had just changed their business plans and stuff, even after the stuff with Kojima's and everything, and it's just been working out for them. I think Konami is slowly making a comeback, but trying to be very smart about it.
Hmm. Yeah. So good on you, Capcom. Very rooting. I'm rooting for them. I'm rooting for them, and I'm rooting for Sega. And I'm rooting for Japanese games in general because turns
Yes.
out, I mean, Square's having that moment right now, right? I mean, Square Enix is having that moment. They have
Mhm.
turned, they've moved away from underperforming Western games, I guess you would call them, and moving into high quality AAA RPGs with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a pretty massive success for them, and 16 was. But then you're also getting Octopath Traveler and Triangle Strategy and Deofield Chronicles and Bravely Default. They've I think Square is on the verge of figuring it out as well.
Yeah.
So
Voice of cards, like uh, even though they're returning to their JRPG roots, if you want to call it that, or their RPG roots, Square has been Square invested in a lot of smaller titles to big titles, with Avengers and part of Guardian of the Galaxy being their, like, well, Guardians of the Galaxy was Crystal Dynamics, so that was Idols. But
mhm. So I
Avengers,
yeah.
you know, being like that, no, Avengers and the one that Platinum Games did.
Oh, I know. Shoot, yeah, the one that nobody remembers. Their game as a service.
Yeah,
Um,
it was just like
Babylon's Fall, I think it was
Babylon's
called,
Fall,
right?
yeah. With that not being those games being successful, they kind of moved away from it. Now, Forspoken, um, is a mixed thing because even though it got trampled on, I should say. A lot of people went back and played Forspoken to see that game for themselves, and they are
Hmm.
thoroughly enjoying it and stuff. So sale numbers, yes, tells a different story. Um, but I'm like, I'm seeing more people give that game more of a chance, and I think if Square Enix see that games that do get a second chance and more positive stuff come out, they may revisit stuff, which will lead them into continuing their success, and everything. Uh,
Hmm.
so
Yeah. Also, and I think some of these games that people are just super harsh on are just not as bad as people want them to be on the internet because rage fuels engagement and engagement pays money,
yeah,
and it upsets me. And I don't, you know, if we were angry all the time, we would be so much further ahead than we have been, you know. Um, but at the end of the day, I don't want to be that person. And I think Forspoken is an interesting concept. I still want to play that game at some point because I think when I played the demo, I thought it felt fun, um, but I also wanted to focus on Final Fantasy at the time, even though I didn't play Final Fantasy at the time.
yes,
And Destiny was coming out, and Lightfall was coming out, and some switched. Fire Emblem was also out that I was focused on, so I knew I didn't have the time anyway, but I ended up getting it on sale in hopes of playing it. I'm going to be honest, Square Enix is like really the only reason why I still own a PlayStation at this point. Between Final Fantasy 7, 16, Forspoken, definitely not Foam Stars. But that kind of those types of games are like, those are why I want to play those games. I want to finish Final Fantasy 16 and I want to play Final Fantasy 7, and
Hmm.
it's yeah,
For me, it's
Kingdom
gonna
Hearts
be
2 to an extent, I think.
For me, it's gonna be Ghost of Tsushima 2. Like if that gets announced and we see that, then I will be good to go.
Well, it's rumored to be shown this summer, I guess. For next year. But I digress. All right, Ed, we're going to introduce a new segment called DLC. Do you know what this is, Ed? These are smaller stories that we're not going to spend any time on, but we should probably acknowledge for our audience. So, first up, Overwatch 2 is getting a collaboration with Cowboy Bebop, including skins for characters inspired by Spike, Faye, and more. So, you Overwatch players out there, hope you enjoy that. Fortnite's new season, Chapter 5, Season 2, is getting Greek mythology skins and storyline. So enjoy that, you Fortnite players. This last one I actually almost included in the main news rundown, but I don't really think there's anything to say until this update happens. Hogwarts Legacy's new game update is coming, and Avalanche's community manager Chandler Wood reiterated that the studio's wording was very intentional. Let me read the whole quote
It's
here.
like a new game plus or just
No, we don't know what it is yet.
okay.
He's this. They say here, "Hi everyone, we are thrilled that you are all excited for the free update to Hogwarts Legacy this summer. We love seeing all the guesses and hopes for what will be part of this update. And while we are not ready to talk about it yet, I do want to set some expectations for what we are working on. Our original wording of additional updates and features for the game was very intentional. This update is a small way of us showing appreciation to our players for the amazing reception of the game." So something probably substantial, something rewarding, for players, and I hope players enjoy it. I might jump in and check it out because I really liked Hogwarts Legacy, and I actually thought about replaying it on the Switch again at some point, because that version is
I
pretty decent.
When I get done with some of the games on my Series X, I'm gonna reinstall it and play it there. Finish it up, play it there.
Yeah, it's a great game. I loved it. It's like everything I love about video games in one package. um, Avalanche deserves all the credit. They deserve all of the success. I mean, when you look at them in their last games, were Cars 3 Driven to Win, and Disney Infinity, and a couple other licensed projects. Like, you did not expect this from them, so good on them. Glad they are seeing success, and I hope they
Yes.
get to make it. I hope they get to make a sequel, which it seems that Portkey Games is more in charge of them than this IP than Warner Brothers themselves. But Warner Brothers can make games within the. I don't know. It's a weird situation, I think. But at the end of the day, I think we're going to get a proper single player Hogwarts Legacy sequel.
Yeah.
But we'll also probably get some sort of multiplayer game on top of it. So that's it. That's the DLC stuff. So let's see. Let's just where do we want to go from here? I guess we could do we want to do the other side, or do we kind of already did the other side. We talked about Final Fantasy a lot already. Let's talk about the speculation that's been going around on the internet, which I don't think is true based on the fact that Pokemon has never done this. But is Pokemon Legends ZA the first next gen Nintendo game that's been announced?
Oh no.
I know.
Mm-mm.
I think people are a little over excited for the next console, and they're hoping that Pokemon would be a launch game, which I think a Pokemon spin-off launch game would actually be a perfect kind of uh secondary game to a 3D Mario game. I think that would be an
Mm-hmm.
awesome launch lineup actually. But Nintendo has never, the Pokemon company has never put Pokemon on a console that has just launched, right?
Right.
Um I mean, they put Pokemon games on the DS when the 3DS came out. They put Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon both on 3DS when the Switch was out. So they've never really tried to be that we're going to be first in line. Uh, so I don't know. I think it would be really cool if they did. I think this would be a great second game for a launch lineup from Nintendo. Uh, but I just don't think it's happening. I mean, if the next console is backwards compatible, it'll be playable, and it will probably run a little bit better just based on hardware specs that
Mm-hmm.
we've seen, or allegedly seen, we'll say. Um, but at the end of the day, Pokemon's not doing it. Pokemon Company's not doing it.
No, I think we'll probably see more about this game at the Pokemon Direct later on this year. Um, and then the game probably will be out around maybe October or November of next year. Um,
Well, they said early next year. They said they didn't the trailer say early next year.
Probably. I
I,
thought it just said 2025
mm, Pokemon Legends ZA release date. Let's check it. Let's find out. Um, the
because I'm
teaser
just like
trailer.
definitely with Game Freak doing their other game, like
Mhm.
that will
Yeah, it just
affect.
says 2025. So
Yeah, that will affect that release of Pokemon because I think they want to get their own game out first before Pokemon.
I'm a little shocked that if they announced it that far out though. I mean, Nintendo has usually been pretty good about doing that, of not announcing games, although I know this is Pokemon, so it's probably
Mm-hmm.
a little bit different, but I don't know. I feel like it's still first half of next year at least.
Right.
I could be
Well,
wrong though. I'm wrong about a lot of things, so who knows.
I think where they are going for definitely with this, with them being back with Game Freak to make this game, I think it's pretty much gonna take a while. Like I think they got the design concept and stuff, but I think once Game Freak finishes their game, they're gonna like get probably start working more on the game and stuff. So they're probably like in early, I would say early beta or early development of this game, and they just don't have nothing to show just yet. Because I'm
Mm,
like, why would we get that announcement and then pretty much all that art, not artwork, but like drawing, but no gameplay and stuff. I think that's probably coming on down later on in the year. So I think they're probably it's just still in development.
yeah. So like, we'll find out, I guess. What the heck is this? What is this? Oh, okay. Never mind. I got this weird email and I didn't know what it was, but it's Zencaster sending me the cloud recordings because I didn't know if they were going to download or not. All right, so let's get into Pack Watch, Ed.
Yes.
We have a lot of games. We have a lot of games coming out. So on 3/12, we have Contra Operation Galuga. Contra Operation Galaga is a thorough reimagining of the classic run and gun action game from the 80s, featuring modern graphics and sound, new stages, new enemies and bosses, and new play mechanics, an updated weapon system, and explosive co-op combat for up to 2 players in story mode or 4 players in arcade mode. We're going to be talking to Way Forward about it on Wednesday. I'm excited about, so stay tuned for that. Pat and Stephanie are also talking to Togi on Monday. So there's going to be a couple spotlights coming out. We're probably going to have about 5 or 6 over the course of the next couple months. So I'm very excited about upcoming spotlights there. Passing By on 3/12, a Tailwind Journey, a cozy survival adventure game to escape from your daily life, take to the skies in your balloon ship, and explore a colorful world of floating islands. Befriend fellow travelers and quirky islanders. Use your wits to solve immersive puzzles and gather resources to continue your journey towards an unknown destination. On 3/14, Guilt is finally coming to the Switch. For those who don't know, Guilt is Tequila Works' game that was exclusive to Stadia for a long time, until Stadia died, I guess. Their previous game was Rime. So this is kind of like a horror version of Rime, it seems like. A narrative adventure game with puzzles, stealth, and action set in a fictional old mining town in the state of Maine. After being chased by a group of bullies, Sally is dragged into a twisted version of her town where her fears and worst memories are presented in a wicked and very real way. Also on 3/14, a game called High Water. High Water is a whimsical 3D adventure game with isometric turn-based puzzle combat system set in a flooded post-apocalyptic world. Navigate by boat, discover islands, and find new allies to help battle foes and experience a humorous tale about friendship in this melancholic and atmospheric escape. Also on 3/14, Lawnmower Simulator, Ed. Experience the beauty and detail of mowing the great British countryside in Lawn Mowing Simulator, the only simulator that allows you to ride an authentic and expansive roster of real-world licensed lawnmowers from prestigious manufacturers. 3/14 also, Ed, I know a lot of people are excited for this this collection. Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection from Aspire. Fight in iconic battles from across the Star Wars galaxy. Play the classic Star Wars Battlefront games on modern consoles, online and offline in this complete classic collection. The collection includes Star Wars Battlefront and Star Wars Battlefront 2, along with bonus maps, heroes, units, and more, with up to 64-player online battles. And last, on 3/15, Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition, a story-driven open-world RPG that immerses you in an epic adventure in the Holy Roman Empire. Avenge your parents' death as you battle invading forces, go on game-changing quests, and make influential choices. I'm also going to try to add games that have been announced that are coming. So, new game announcements this week. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants Unleashed, which is a game based on the 2023 movie, is coming in 2024. It's made by Game Mill, and it'll be a $40 experience. I wouldn't really expect much from Game Mill. If you played the Bluey video game that came out, I think they made that as well, and it was not very good. So expect it to be broken and maybe a mess? Question mark. Maybe it'll be good. Maybe it'll be good. Also coming is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Arcade Wrath of the Mutants is coming in April of 2024. I don't know why I put 2023 there. Whoops. So I don't know if you watched this trailer, Ed, but it made me feel really old. So this arcade game, it was an arcade game based on the Nickelodeon show from the mid 2000s, the CG animated show, which everybody loved.
Yeah.
But in the trailer, they said the classic arcade game returns. And I'm like,
Which is weird because Ubisoft already did that.
so this game is 20 years old, apparently. The arcade game, I guess, is 20 years old. I didn't even know this existed, but it's a Turtles game. I will play it. Both of these Turtles games, by the way, are getting physical releases, and they're both $40, so you can check them out. RPG Maker Wish has been announced for Switch for fall of 2024. So if you wanted to experiment in making your own RPG with user-friendly tools, you can go right ahead and do that. Valiant Hearts Coming Home, the sequel to Valiant Hearts The Great War. Previously mobile and PC exclusive, are coming to consoles for the first time, including to Switch, in a standalone or bundled with the first game as a collection. Valiant Hearts.
This was the Ubisoft game, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
We never got the first one, right?
No, the first one's on Switch.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually buy Valiant Hearts in a bundle with Child of Light, and they're both on sale right now. I think you can buy the bundle for $8.99 right now on Switch.
Yes, because we never got them for Wii U. That's right.
Yeah, Child of Light came to Wii U. I don't know if Valiant Hearts did. And then last but not least, this game looked really interesting. It's called Renatus. I think it's called. I think that's how you pronounce it. Renatus. It's defined as an urban action RPG. Let me look this up because it has some pretty big names attached to it, but it looks like Persona mixed with Astral Chain is kind of what it looks like.
Yeah.
It has people, like really good developers attached to it. I mean, NIS America, maybe their website will have something about it on it. It's set in present day Shibuya, Tokyo, where magic exists. Who's on the team? I want to know who's on the team. Main staff. So we have so there's developers from Persona attached to this, Final Fantasy games attached to this, the Kingdom Hearts battle director is on this. So there's some pretty big names attached to this game. It looks really cool. The art style is the art style is very striking.
Yeah,
so
when I seen the trailer, I've been waiting to play this one because it looks really, really good.
Yeah, I actually ended up pre-ordering this deluxe edition that comes with the art book physically. I think this game looks really interesting and striking.
Yes.
And I really want to play it. So I got the Switch version. So looks cool. But those are the games I found that have been announced this week. I'm sure there are more, but we'll do it later.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I am signed in. I don't care. This pop-up, ever since my power went out, this pop-up on my computer keeps saying sign into your Apple ID, and I'm already signed in. I'm literally using the computer. I literally can't use any of the programs without signing in. All right, it's time for question block, Ed. We have 2 questions, one from Twitter and one from Discord. So if you want to read that first question while I get copy and paste this one from Discord.
Okay. This is from Daniel, one of our former co-hosts on Nintendo Pow Block. And you guys can check out his work on YouTube. Explosion, not explosive cupcakes. I just had it too. Um, he asks, uh, us, what are some demos that make you immediately purchase a game? So, definitely for me was the Metro Prime demo on GameCube. Like, I played it at Sam Goody, got done playing it, just find even getting to the point the demo was up to where you had to fight the first boss, you escape and was going to the other planet. I played that whole thing, went to the counter and paid my whole $50 for Metro Prime. Like the game was even released yet. That I played it and I was just like, "Yep, I ain't buying this game right now." And I bought it at Sam Goody. Mind you, the Sam Goody that I bought it from was 30 minutes from my house, so it was like literally out there.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's just one of them.
Hmm.
Oh, Exploding Cupcakes is his YouTube page, everybody. So check it out. What about you, Corey?
Man, demos that made me buy games. So this would have been very the demo disc era, I guess you would say.
Mm-hmm.
Although we used to get those VHS tapes from Nintendo Power, right? The VHS tapes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I bought Donkey Kong 64 because of one of those VHS tapes, and they got me. Ugh, Donkey Kong 64. What a mess. I'm pretty sure, that. And then demo discs. There were quite a few Xbox games I purchased from demo discs. Like Jade Empire was on one. And I definitely bought Jade Empire because of a demo. Um, man, Jade Empire is so good. I wish,
Yeah.
and talk about a game that deserves a second life. Let's see, what else did I play what else did I buy because of a demo? Final Fantasy X came with what game did that come with? Like the demo of Final Fantasy X, I pretty sure came with, I want to say the bouncer, but I don't think it came with the bouncer. It came with some RPG.
I know Dragon Quest 8 had Final Fantasy 12.
Right.
Because that's
So
how I ended up buying Final Fantasy 12 as a demo by playing it
mhm,
on Dragon Quest 8.
yeah. I think well, there were definitely games that you bought because of demos, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people bought Zone of the Enders because of the Metal Gear Solid 2 demo.
Yeah.
Uh, I think of Crackdown a lot for the Halo 3 alpha, beta, whatever that was.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so there's definitely situations like that. Recently,
Oh, shoot, Bayonetta 2. I That demo, when that mug hit Wii U, even though you had like 20 plays of that game,
mhm,
I still have that demo saved on my Wii U with more plays on it. I just played that first one. It was right after, I think they announced it at E3, or it was at, I think after an E3 presentation, they was just like, it's the demo is playable. I played
mhm.
that mug and I'm just like, yep, I'm buying this game when it's coming out. And sure enough, I was at Toys R Us. I seen Bayonetta 2. I took it out the case and I went to the counter and I brought my copy. And I got Bayonetta 1 for free.
Oh wow, yeah, that's true. Switch too. Um, man, I feel like we talked a lot about Bayonetta at some point.
Yeah.
On
Pikmin
something.
4. The Pikmin 4 demo. I mean, I was already going to buy Pikmin 4. That demo literally changed my whole mind. That was just like, oh, this is a must have. Like, there was no choice. I'm like, oh, I have to have this game and play it immediately. And I sure enough did.
Yeah, there's I'm trying to think of like other things. I can't really think. I used to like live on demo discs though.
Mm-hmm.
Demo discs were like, they were awesome.
She
Shout out to
PlayStation,
demo discs.
played the PlayStation 1 era. Like the demo disc on there, they were just like, oh, you was gonna get games. So you felt like you couldn't afford a game. You had a demo disc, you sure enough was gonna play it to death and be like, I experienced this game. Those gonna be your library of games.
Yeah. Uh, Man, there's so many great demos, man. Demos were awesome. Remember also like Xbox 360, like every single Xbox Live Arcade game had a demo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh man, I played Bionic Commando Rearmed that way. Um, Braid I played. There were quite a few games I played that way, which were awesome. Shout out.
Yeah. Outriders is one. I played the demo that I ended up buying the game.
Yeah. I guess you could kind of almost apply that to Game Pass now for some people,
Yeah.
where you use it as a demo machine, and if you really love the game, you'll buy it, right? I mean, that's how I kind of treat Game Pass at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Although it's probably a waste of money. I actually have been thinking about unsubscribing for a little bit just because I don't play anything that's on Game Pass right now. Just to save some money. I actually unsubscribed to 3 subscriptions today. I was very proud of myself. But mostly because I can access subscription. Like Apple has this, iPhones have this really great thing that has a subscription manager built into it. So as long as you subscribe to something on your phone, it stores it in your subscription thing, and you can just all you have to do is click a button to unsubscribe to something. You don't have to go through their process or anything. It'll just unsubscribe for you.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, I was proud of myself for that.
Oh,
But anyways, I
Destiny 2, definitely for me, dude. That Destiny 2 demo, um, I felt
yeah, that
okay on PlayStation 4, but dude, after I played that Destiny 2 on Xbox, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to get this game, I'm definitely playing it on Xbox because the controller felt better on Xbox One with Destiny 2 dropped.
mhm. Yeah, that's yeah, Destiny had, I mean, that first mission, man, was really awesome.
Yes.
That opening mission to Destiny 2's campaign. Um so all right, let's get into our next question here. Great question. Man, demos. The One True James via Twitter asks, if you could only preserve 3 Switch games to play in the future, which 3 would they be?
To preserve?
I
Ooh.
don't, I guess if like to preserve for us to play in the future.
Oh, Octopath Traveler 2, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, and Super Mario 3D World.
I would say if we're talking Switch only, my first thought was instantly Breath of the Wild, but that's technically a Wii U game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I really think a lot of people
You
forget
know
that.
what, if we're not doing ports or something, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Octopath Traveler 2, Fire Emblem 3 Houses.
Yeah, for me it would be Tears of the Kingdom, Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I would probably say Xenoblade Chronicles. I guess you would say 3 because it's probably the best one out of them.
Oh, I
Uh,
thought you would say Mario Kart 8.
it's not a Switch game; it's a Wii U game.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I would probably go that route. I also thought about Link's Awakening, the
Mm-hmm.
remake. Uh, but I think having 2 Zelda games on there, that list is kind of pointless, or not pointless, but like overdoing it. And I think Tears of the Kingdom ultimately is the better game, and obviously has like a lot more to do. And if you're only allowed to have 3 games on the Switch, like that would be, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Tears of the Kingdom, and Fire Emblem Three Houses has a lot of replay value in there. There's a lot to do in all 3 of those games.
Yeah.
So those would be my picks, I think. Well, Super
I mean,
Mario Wonder is pretty good too.
yeah. I mean, like
Pikmin.
Pikmin's good, but I think that due to the fact that I ran through all of Pikmin and everything, like even though it has a little bit extra content, I'm like, I think I would be done with that. And I think with the 3 games that me and you both chose, there's like you said, replayability to it, and just the campaigns are longer and stuff, and like a lot of it's story driven, and so we'll get these deep, meaningful stories. Especially with Fire Emblem Three Houses, like you'll get one side story, but then you got 2 more stories with the other camps characters that you could choose. So like that's 2 more things of stories that you can learn.
Yeah. So that's yeah. So many. Plus, I've been thinking about Three Houses again because I never played it once the DLC came out, and I bought the DLC. I actually thought about replaying it when Engage came out and how disappointed I was in Engage from a narrative standpoint. So, man, Engage was so boring, man. I feel bad saying that, but it was like, I can't believe how like not into that. I was so excited for Engage. I was so hyped for Fire Emblem Engage, and it was just so boring. Anyways, enough of that. I didn't put Tetris on that list.
No, I wouldn't put Tetris on the list. As much as I love it, I think I will probably get bored of it.
Man, so many. Man, I'm looking at. So I made this list of physical copies of games I want to get because I'm a loser and I love making lists. Man, there's so many great games. There are so many great Switch games.
Which everybody, we still have our Switch capsule episode.
Oh yeah, that's right.
To record where we're going to be taking 10 games each and putting them in the time capsule.
I thought about that and I was like, did we do that already? When I saw this question, I was like, I feel like I don't think we did the time capsule for Switch yet.
We haven't. We ended it with Wii U.
All right. Well, we're doing that when we record our next batch of expansion passes then.
Yeah, because we gotta come up with 10 games and everything. And
we also have to come up with you and me also have to one of the episodes we're going to try to put out the week we're off from PAX is Ed and I are going to probably argue for 3 hours over a top 25 Switch game list. And it's a combined list where we're going to argue about which games should be on the list and how we're going to order them. So prepare for that, everybody.
Yes.
Oh man, that list is going to be such a cluster.
Well, I think there's going to be games that we're going to agree. I think the disagreement for those games is gonna come to the side games. Is like we'll probably agree about Tears of the Kingdom with ease or where it will be on that list and where it'll go. But I think we're gonna have a hard time with Kirby and the Forgotten Worlds because like if you have your
Kirby
opinion about
on the list.
You have your opinion on Kirby, and I have mine. Once again, you're just proving my point. So that's where not the fighting, not the arguing, but that's when the discussions will really happen.
Guess we'll agree to disagree.
Oh, it's going to be on the list.
Oh boy. I'm let's see, what was I saying? I don't remember. What I was saying. I think we got to figure out too if we're going to include ports or not, or remasters or not.
I think ports and the remasters could go on another list. I think we just got to be like, because I think Nintendo does have a lot of games that's 25 plus that is original content on Switch. Where the remasters and the remakes and stuff that could go on its own list, and ports could go on its own list and stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
because that's where the real argument is going to be happening with that. Just like what needs to be on there and where does that go? Because yes, everybody, there's a lot of ports and remasters and remakes on Switch, and Mario Kart 8 is not number one in my opinion. Hey,
okay.
Like I said, the discussion.
It'll be interesting, we'll say. But get me out of here. It's we've been keeping everybody long enough.
Yes.
Although I could keep going for like another hour and a half. You know how we can do it, but
yes, who already did a 4-hour episode last week.
I know, and we're doing another 3-hour episode tonight. It's awesome. I love it.
Well, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend. Like I said, we have one more episode before PAX, and then we will be at PAX Live. No, not PAX Live, but we're going to be at PAX doing interviews, some recording. So check out that content when it hits. With that, everybody, have a great week. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time on Nintendo Pow Block. Bye, everybody. Woohoo!
Bye. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dirrig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.